Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to talk about victory over our weakness. Judges 16:1 through 31. Samson is an example of someone who drifted away from the Lord. He had a righteous upbringing with parents who taught him how to obey God. But in time, the temptations of the world became overly attracted to him. Scripture reveals 7 occasions where Samson gave in to sin. For instance, he desired a pagan woman from Tamira, and despite his parents warning him about that woman, he broke God's commandments by marrying her. Judges 14:1 through 3. Another time, he was enraged by his wife's manipulation and killed 30 men. Verses 12 through 20. Perhaps the most tragic example is his pursuit of another Philistine woman, Delilah, whose betrayal led Samson to being captured and blinded. Left unchecked, sin will permeate and dominate our life, while also affecting others with its repercussions. The first step toward victory over temptation is to become aware of our weaknesses. Next, we must admit helplessness to overcome them on our own. Next, we must admit that the only way out is Jesus Christ. It's important to acknowledge God's sufficiency to rescue us. In the end, Samson recognized his need for God and prayed for strength to strike back at the Philistines. 16:28. The sooner we share Samson's final perspective, the better. Living obediently is the only way to triumph over sin. Yesterday or the day before, I talked about choices, our personal choices, that God has a plan for us. But ultimately, we may choose to get off that path or that plan that he has, and he has to reroute us. And sometimes we wonder why our life isn't going quite the way that he had planned for us. But he doesn't leave us. He's still with you. Or he might take you through a challenge, a life challenge, because he's building your character. He's testing your faith, building your faith, trying your faith. I can see now when I look back that there were choices that I made that took me off the path that God had for me, or choices that my parents made that took me off the path that he might have had for me. My parents had me in a Moravian church when I was born. My parents divorced, and my mom and my dad and my stepmom went to a Presbyterian church, and then my dad, mom, and stepdad went to a Mormon church. Got married in a Mormon church. My boss that I was working for at the time got saved and was going to a Baptist church. Several of the girls that I worked for ended up getting saved and going to the church that my boss was going to. And he started a Bible study at his home. And some of the girls were witnessing That's eventually how I got saved. The church had a big Easter pageant. Heard things I had never heard before. It was a 2-year, if I ever get to tell my story, it was a 2-year cycle of getting me from out of the Mormon church, and to my salvation. But God doesn't give up, and the power of prayer. And I was in a domestic violence marriage, and when I say only God, I'm telling you, when God opens doors, when you're in a situation that you think you have no hope, it is like the parting of the Red Sea. I mean, it's open and you got to walk through, and if you don't go through whenever he has that opening, you can see the sea closing in behind you. That's what it was like for me whenever I was going to get out of my situation. I had but a moment. So there is victory over weakness. There's victory. I encourage you guys to prayer journal, or just write down your prayer thoughts, things that you ask God for, people that you're praying for, because God does answer prayer. Not always how we think he should answer it, not always his plans are not our plans. And sometimes you're thinking, oh my gosh, is it ever going to happen? And you got to remember, he's a parent too. So he wants what's best for us. So he's working out there. We just can't see it. So I'm listening to myself and I'm thinking, I wonder how many of you are thinking she's like the Fever Coach White. She says, like. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.